worst heat wave of the year is currently building up across the southern US, and through the rest of this month, it's going to expand into an oppressive heat dome and cause all kinds of problems. Droughts, severe weather, and even an increased threat for a landfalling major hurricane are all on the table. And it all starts with this area of high pressure. This thing is forecast to grow exponentially, breaking records and becoming as strong as a high pressure can possibly get in this climate. Most of the extremely hot air will be aloft, meaning that it's going to be floating around 20,000 feet above your head, but some of it will make it to the ground, causing an all-out heat wave in the nation's midsection. Just check out this temperature anomaly animation. Starting this weekend, a huge area of 20 to 30 degree above average temperatures will latch on to the central US. This monster heat wave is just going to sit there and twirl around underneath the ridge. You see, the jet stream is going to be arced across the country like this, with no big time movements or waves going through it, and this is going to allow for the heat dome to build up underneath over time. As a result, a lot of people from Texas to Iowa and even farther east into the Ohio Valley and southeastern regions of the US will likely see the hottest temperatures of the year next week. We're talking 90 to 110 degrees for everyone in the dark reds, browns, and purples here. And the longer this ridge stays in place, the more intense the heat will get. And it does look like this is going to be an extended heat wave. This could last for 5 to 7 days in certain regions. And then there's potentially another round coming after that, which will take us all the way through the end of August. But the dangerous heat is actually just one of the bad things that's coming out of this system. An even bigger impact here will be the intensification of this ongoing drought in the plains. I expect this drought monitor to look a lot worse in a few weeks. All the storm systems that would normally be giving us precipitation will be following the jet stream and sort of dodging the heat dome, leaving us all high and dry. And that brings us to another interesting feature of this massive high pressure ridge. What's going to be going on outside of the heat dome? Well, in the northeastern US, we're going to find ourselves outside of the upper right quadrant of our heat dome. This is going to put us in the perfect position to experience recurring systems diving in from the northwest out of Canada. These shots of colder air racing towards warmer air will probably bring forth some of the strongest storms you've seen this year if you live in the Northeast, especially in upstate New York and New England. In fact, we're probably going to start to get our first taste of this early next week up here, as a fast-moving system is expected to move in Tuesday into Wednesday, bringing strong winds and heavy rain. Farther west, the heat dome will be attracting Pacific moisture into the western states. This is actually really good news in terms of getting a potential break during our wildfire season, but this could be really bad for flash flooding and mudslides because there's going to be a lot of Pacific moisture moving in, especially since a lot of this moisture is coming in the form of leftovers from Hurricane Hillary. All of that energy down here is expected to get sucked in towards our ridge and then slam into California in the form of really heavy rain. And there's actually a whole lot to talk about right now in the tropics as it relates to our heat dome here in the US. Basically, things are about to get very interesting very fast, and I am going to explain why. But first, all of this talk about heat has gotten me parched, so let's talk about today's sponsor, Liquid IV, now with zero sugar. Y'all should know by now that I love Liquid IV. You see, Liquid IV has 3 times the amount of electrolytes of your traditional sports drink. So basically, adding this to water actually makes water appealing, and it makes it actually healthy, unlike a lot of other things out there. Right now, I'm really into this lemon lime flavor because it's actually like putting summer in a bottle and drinking it. I've been having a bottle every morning before coming over here to the weather house, and let me tell you, I've got a little bit more pep in my step. And did you know that Liquid IV is now available at Costco? So you can get it over there, or you can get it right now by clicking the link at the top of the description. Make sure you use my code at checkout to get 20% off your next order plus free shipping. And that's all you got to do to get started on your hydration journey. To get a little bit more pep in your step, click the link at the top of the description, use my code to get 20% off, and you're gonna love it. And now that we are all properly hydrated with Liquid IV, let's get back into the video. So on the southern extent of our outside the dome zone, the doors are pretty much going to be wide open for potential tropical systems wanting to enter the US. And this could happen as soon as early next week, as the Euro model is already showing a little tropical system riding the Gulf Coast and bringing rain up into Texas. And then towards the end of the week, some of that rain might make it all the way up into the Central Plains as a result of this tropical system. And that would actually be a really good thing. Some tropical rainfall relief down here in Texas is certainly going to be welcomed, I'm sure. But the longer this pattern stays in place, the more likely it is that a less friendly tropical system will wander its way into the Gulf of Mexico. And that would be really bad right now. Sea surface temperatures in the Atlantic Ocean are still off the charts, especially in the Gulf of Mexico. In fact, right now, the average temperature of the Gulf of Mexico is higher than it's ever been since we started taking breaking records. This map shows us the current temperature of the water out there, and all of that white is ocean that's hotter than 90 degrees Fahrenheit. I cannot emphasize enough how bad it would be if a hurricane got access to this. It would have a direct source of performance-grade hyperdrive fuel for tropical systems, and it would likely become a major hurricane in a hurry. And here's the thing, our saving grace so far this year has been wind shear. These changing upper-level winds have been doing work by keeping storms from forming so far this year. But as a result of our high-pressure ridge and our extended jet stream, there's going to be a period of decreased wind shear down here, meaning that a storm could actually form. And the hurricane experts down there at the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida, actually agree with me here. They are highlighting a good chunk of the Gulf in a 20% chance of development over the next 7 days. And if we zoom out a bit, there's even more activity out towards the main development region. We now have not one, but two areas of interest off the coast of Africa. These both carry a 50% chance of developing into a tropical system over the next 7 days. Right now, there's a ton of Saharan dust over this part of the ocean, which is actually going to dampen the development of these systems in the short term. But as soon as August 20th, it looks like the dust will start to settle into the ocean, adding even more fuel to any storm that decides to get going out here. It's my opinion that the Atlantic hurricane season is about to awaken from a slumber, and that's actually right on cue with climatology. We are getting close to peak hurricane season here. Also, the eastern Pacific Ocean is lighting up with activity. I mean, just look at Hurricane Hillary. This is likely going to become a major hurricane this weekend off the coast of Mexico. And then after that, it's going to sling its leftover moisture into California like we talked about earlier. And here's what that's going to look like. Rain's going to start breaking out as early as Saturday, and it's going to get much heavier as we go into Sunday and Monday. And this is actually pretty early because the center of circulation is still going to be pretty far away at this point. Therefore, we can tell that there's going to be an extended period of rainfall, and that's going to cause flash flooding problems in places like Vegas, San Diego, and Los Angeles. And the rain and flooding problems will extend farther north and east as we go into early next week. If you live out here, you might remember the remnants of Hurricane Kathleen back in 1976. Well, this system is looking pretty similar to that. The main concern here is going to be dangerous flooding and big-time mudslides, as Hillary is expected to be much weaker as it makes its way onto the west coast. There is a small chance that Hillary could make landfall as a weak tropical storm, which is actually really interesting because that hasn't happened in California since the 1930s. So if you live along the coast, especially along the Gulf or the Atlantic side, go ahead and start making preparations just in case. Go over your evacuation plans, make a go bag, all that good stuff. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel because if anything interesting starts happening, I'm going to have very consistent updates here. And of course, if we get a landfalling hurricane anywhere in the US, I'll be live during the whole thing with storm chasers and scientific sensors and cameras out there showing you the full story. And that's all the weather I have for you today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.